What's up, nerds? So, with the recent drop of the Fantastic Four trailer, I started thinking about the MCU and just my personal relationship with this. I think that when it comes to the MCU, I've pretty much liked, you know, all of it up until Endgame. Not everything was perfect. Like, Thor: Dark World was shit, and I didn't like some other stuff in there. Thor: Love and Thunder, a lot of Thors. But I've always thought that with the end of Endgame and the death of Tony Stark, I've always thought that the MCU needed another person, another being to surround themselves by. And I know that for a little while they wanted to do Captain Marvel, and I thought that that was a bad choice. Captain Marvel never, was really popular in the comic books, especially this new iteration of her, and she's not popular now. And I don't think, and Brie Larson is just completely unlikable at times. I think that her personality is just, too off putting. I think that people just don't want to hang out with her and be around her. And those that do are just, fooling themselves. And they just like the Captain Marvel character, which I'm like, you can like that character. I mean, it's not a great character by any means necessary. I mean, like, I'm sorry, but she's not written well. I mean, Brie Larson, I think, is a good actress, but she's just not a likable person. So I think that going forward, I always thought that they needed a person to surround themselves by. And I always thought that Reed Richards should have been that person. I thought that after Endgame, Fantastic Four should have been the very first movie that they put out. Now, I understand that they had some other movies in the mix, and they need to put those movies out. But I always thought, like they had Ant-Man and Quantumania. I believe they had Ant-Man and Quantumania. Don't quote me on that. And they have all the TV shows. But I thought that as soon as possible, they needed to do Reed Richards, and that's who they needed to surround like the whole MCU around. Like, that's the person. And I think that maybe that, and I asked myself, was this movie a little too late? Because they've already put out so much trash that I personally don't, for me, I don't know if the MCU is salvageable anymore. I don't get excited for any of the movies. I definitely don't get excited for any of the shows. I mean, I am excited for Daredevil, but that can go south real freaking quick. I just wanted the MCU to get back to its glory days. And I mean, I understand that you can kind of like venture off and do your own little thing or whatnot, but it doesn't work in this situation. The MCU has really put themselves in a bind. I don't like that it's. I mean, I understand why they put it on another world, but I just don't think it's going to work out. I really don't. I mean, I have no faith in Marvel now, and I'm not excited about it. And so I always thought that Tony Stark was a great character in the MCU. I was with him on the Civil War. I know a lot of people weren't, but I was with Tony Stark. I was Team Tony all the way. And I always thought that he grounded the MCU. It was, there was characters that were connected to him, and then I think that when he died, obviously everybody was bummed because he was the first one. He was the first one. And I think that Reed Richards could have been that character surround themselves. I'm not a huge into the Pedro Pascal into this position. I don't mind Pedro Pascal. I mean, he's a shitty person outside of acting, but I do think he's really overexposed. And I think that him being into the Marvel universe, and if they do what I think that they should do and make Reed Richards the focal point person of the MCU, I think that he's going to be way too overexposed, like to the point where I just don't want to see him anymore. So I think, like I said before, I think that this is just a little too late. I think that the Fantastic Four should have been put out early because the Fantastic Four have never been hugely popular in the comic books. And if you tell me you were, fine, you travel in a large group of two because there's not that many of you. And what they've done recently with Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four, I just don't like it. Recently, he has a sister who is black, because they had to make her black. And because his dad got around and she's just as smart as Reed Richards, but she doesn't have superpowers. And she's like, there's plankton. She's out saving plankton or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I just remember reading that issue and just thinking, oh my God, they're stupid. And it's just bad. And I don't know if this movie will succeed. I like the 60s aesthetic. I really love the 50s and that whole look. I know we don't have microwaves back then, but I like the whole look and everything of the 50s and a little bit of the 60s, but mostly the 50s. But I think, like I said before, I think this is just a little too late. And that kind of bums me out, but what are you going to do, guys? What are you going to do? You know? And we'll see if this works out. I don't think it looks terrible. I don't think the movie looks terrible. I just think it's come too late to the MCU. And it makes me wonder what they're going to do with the X-Men, because I don't want the X-Men on another world and then they just mix that world in. I mean, unless they're doing like an Infinity Crisis kind of thing where they take all the worlds and they just make it into the 1616 and there's no other, there's no multiverse after that. But I don't know. I just wanted to sit down because I've been thinking about this movie and just like, am I excited for it? And I mean, I just don't know. I don't think I'm excited for it, but maybe this will be a good fresh start that we need to the MCU after all the trash that we've gotten lately. But those are my thoughts, you guys. I mean, I just wanted to sit down and, record what I was thinking about it and really just get that out and everything. But tell me what you guys thought about it. Did you like it? Are you excited about this movie? Do you think it's going to work inside the MCU? Because it's on a different world, or do you just think that like pulling the Fantastic Four and Galactus into our world is going to really work? I don't know. I don't know. And you know what? The sad thing is, I just don't care because they've just ruined everything for me. But those are my thoughts, you guys. Tell me what you guys thought about this. This thought process is the Fantastic Four a little too late, or do you think it's coming in right on time? And this is the fresh start that we need, the breath of fresh air that we need for the MCU. Tell me what you guys think about it. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next video. You guys have a good day. Bye.